Ave Satanis, Ave Lucifera, Ave Great Lord Belial. Actually, I'm going to start over. Ave Father Satan, God who invites us to become as gods. Ave King Lucifer, God of enlightenment and knowledge. Ave Great Lord Belial, he who walks between the worlds. Ave Great Lord Leviathan, the primordial dragon, or the primal dragon. Ave Lucifer's Raphael, Ave Lord Abaddon, Ave King Asmodeus, Ave King Asmodee, Ave King Pazuzu, Ave Queen Tiamat, Ave Beautiful Queen Lilith, Beautiful Queen Lilith, the true Queen of the Night and the true Mother of all demons. Ave Lord Croxel, Ave Lord Dandelion. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that one correctly or not, but there's no complaints from the demonic side about it. Ave Lord Sunnylion, Ave King Azazel, Ave Lord Paimon, King Paimon, Ave Lord Beelzebub, Ave and hail to every demon and every demoness who are the true ancient gods that are in existence. And Ave and hail to every one of my true 666% brothers and sisters. The fakes, phonies, keyboard Satanists, the people that are doing it to try to make themselves popular, or the people that are pretending they're doing it to try to make themselves popular, or to try to rake in the cash for a quick cash grab. The quick cash grab don't happen. You're not going to wake up tomorrow morning without even buying a lottery ticket and have $300 million in your bank account. Or up here in Canada, the highest the lottery goes here is 60 million. I think it might go to 65, but that's it. Top, then it's cut off. Now, obviously I buy tickets. I don't spend a fortune on them, but I usually, when it gets big, when the lottery gets big, I usually buy one ticket for, and I get just as much good a chance as winning on one ticket as the next fellow. That might have 20 tickets bought. But, that being said, my fucking internet sucks tonight. And I mean sucks. Like, I can't get on at all online because of my internet connection where I live. It bones in every way, shape, and form. When you can't get on the internet, you know how much it bones. And that pisses me off because I had a lot of things I wanted to do tonight online. But by the looks of this, I ain't going to be doing them. But that said, could be a lot worse. Could be a hell of a lot worse, actually. I could be dead. Could be living on the street. Could be flat on my back in the hospital. Anything like that. But, Father Satan takes care of his own, and I want to give a few shout-outs before I get into my video. I want to give a shout-out to my sister Volvin and her husband John. I want to give a shout-out to obviously Cindy Burris. Yeah, I think that's how you pronounce her last name, is Burris. I want to give a shout out to her. Give a shout out to Holly Rowan. Will Thompson, Carrie Hall, or Carrie Darkstar. Carrie Darkstar is her channel name. Edgar Caval, Bohemoth X, Maria Ravensoul, people of that nature. Will Thomas and his girlfriend. Obviously, my sister, my my true sister. She's more like family to me, to be honest with you, than just a satanic sister. My sister, Volvin, she's more like she's more like blood family, to be honest with you. And I want to give a shout out to Sarah Navarro. Now, I might be butchering her name too. That's very possible. If I'm butchering your name, and if you are watching this video and I'm butchering your name, I'm sorry. I apologize for it. But at least I tried, right? And I want to give a shout out to my sister who lives in Sweden, Yasmin. I really can't pronounce her last name at all. Her last name, like, I really truly cannot pronounce it at all. And I want to give a shout out to all my true brothers and sisters. I want to give a shout out to Loki. I want to give a shout out to all my true brothers and sisters. Not the fakes, not the phonies, not that tribe. Not a thing to them. Like, I mean not a thing. But what I do want to talk about is satanic and demonic altars. It doesn't matter how big they are. If you have the space, okay? If you have the space to have a big altar and lots of altar items on it, great. Great for you. And I mean that literally, and I'm not joking. I'm dead serious. I truly do mean that literally. If you have the space and everything to have a big altar, beautiful. More power to you. But a lot of people just don't. A lot of people either don't have the space, okay? Because, you know, where they live is probably not big enough for them to have a big altar set up. Or they live in a, like I said, they might live in a place that is very small, confined probably to a certain area, you know, and they just don't have the space to put up a big altar. But even if you got a small altar, okay, doesn't matter how big your fucking altar is. Some people think that, some people got it in their heads, and I've noticed it online, and I'm sure others have also. Some people think that you need to have a big altar in order to come in contact with the ancient gods, every demoness in existence, every demoness that's in existence, all the ancient gods. Some people think that you need a big fancy altar. That's not true. You really don't, because even if all you can afford, okay, or if all you can have in where you live is a little box, cardboard box, and a tea light, if that's all you can afford, and if you are really loyal, if you are truly loyal and truly honest and very respectful with the demonic, you might have 9 chances out of 10, if you're honestly loyal and honestly respectful and everything in that aspect, you 9 chances out of 10 probably get better results than people that have a big room for their altar, that have a big basement, a full room in their home, or what have you. I would love to have that. I really would, not joking. But I can't, because I don't have the space. So my altar, I definitely have an altar, no question about that. And I got a lot of items on my altar, but my altar is not what you call it. My altar is not really big. But in saying that, Father Satan don't care how big your altar is. Sure, he probably likes it if you got a big altar, because if you can afford it. If you can afford a big altar, I'm sure Father Satan got no problem with that at all. He probably loves it. Well, I'm sure he loves it just because you got an altar. Especially if you're loyal to him. And you're honest to the demonic, and you're honest with Father Satan and very respectful, then all of the ancient gods probably love it. But in saying that, if you don't have a big altar, it doesn't make no difference, because it's the intent. It's the intent and the respect. It's the intent and the respect that you show to demonic. It doesn't matter if you got an altar with $50,000 worth of altar items on it, or if you have, like I said before, or if you have a small cardboard box with a tea light on it. In all honesty, in my honest opinion, and I've always said this, now if that's all you can afford to have, I am sure, and if you speak about the demonic and speak with the demonic, like fully respectful and fully honest, and if you're loyal to the demonic and your patron demon, and very respectful, or your matron demon, depending, you might get more results than somebody that, like I said, went out and spent 50 grand on their altar and altar items. And I'm not joking, I'm being dead serious about that. Dead serious. Because do you honestly think that our ancients, and in this case I'm speaking of our ancient ancestors, okay? Like the ones that got put to death at the stake, burned to death at the stake, and hung and drowned, and every other cruel way, the JCI, or whatever you want to call them, Zions, whatever you want to call them, whatever way they could think of making away with them, they did. And I'm willing to bet they never had no $50,000 worth of stuff around their altar. I'm willing to bet I'd put my life on that one, because they couldn't afford it back then. But I will say this, they were loyal. They were very, very loyal. They were humble when it came to the demonic and Father Satan. And they were very loyal when it came to Father Satan and the demonic. And they were very, very respectful. And obviously when they did their rituals, they did invitation. They were high on invitations. And I am really high on invitations when it comes to anything, really. But when it comes to doing rituals, things of that nature, I'm very high on invitations. I'd invite every demon in existence. I'm not joking either, I'm dead serious. But that's just, that's me. I've always been like that, and I always will be like that. And no one will ever change me on that one. I don't care who they are or what they say. Because I know what works for me. I know what works for me and my rituals. What works for me and my rituals might not work for the next person. Okay? I know that for sure. Like, what works for me might not work for you. What works for you might not work for me. Because everybody's different. And the thing about it is, I don't think a lot of people understand that Satanism is true Satanism, true theistic Satanism, spiritual Satanism, traditional Satanism, demonolatry, necromancy, is a very independent path. And I mean very independent. And it is very, very lonely on this path. Especially if you live in an area where you got no way of getting hold of any of brother or sister. You can't talk to no other brother or sister that, like, face to face, like in your area. Like you can go, like say you go out and have meet a brother or a sister at a coffee shop and have a coffee. If you're in an area like I'm in, you can't, because there's no one else here. Nobody. I'm the only Satanist in this fucking community. And I know that for a fact. I'm definitely the only true Satanist this here. And I'm the only Satanist this here. Because all that's around me is fucking science. And they do all their bullshit. You know, but in saying that, it's not like just because there's no brothers or sisters that live close to me, doesn't mean that I don't wear my father Satan's jewelry with pride, because I do. With much pride too. And I don't hide it away and underneath my shirt when I go into a restaurant, or when I go into a corner store, or when I go into the library that's here, or when I go to a coffee shop or something like that. I don't hide it away. Never have, never will. I leave it out there. I leave it out for people to see, because I want them to see it. Because they got no problem wearing their crosses outside their shirt and all this bullshit of the tree hanger. They got no problem showing off the tree hanger. That's something to show off, something that hung on a tree. Yeah, I'd say. But anyway, yeah, I got no problem doing it, man. And if anybody asks me, the first thing they say is, "Oh, are you a Wiccan?" And then I say, "No, I'm not a Wiccan." And then they'll say, "Oh, I thought maybe you might be because I seen your necklace." No, I'm not a Wiccan. I am a traditional Satanist, theistic Satanist, spiritual Satanist, demonolator, and necromancer. And then the first thing that comes in their mind when they hear a necromancer is, "Oh, you dig up graves, you dig up graves, you mutilate corpses, you have sex with corpses." Well, even if that was the case, if it's no one belonging to that person's family, it's none of their business. Like, it really isn't. I'm not saying I do it, but I'm just saying, right? It ain't any of their business. None of no one's fucking business. And in saying that, I will say this much. Yeah, Satanism is, like, satanic altars, it doesn't matter how big they are. Doesn't matter. You can have, like I said, you can have a candle in a cardboard box. If you got it in here, like, if you're honest with yourself, first you have to be honest with yourself, okay? Then you be honest with Father Satan, King Lucifer, beautiful Queen Lilith, Queen Tiamat, King Azazel, you know, King Asmodeus, King Asmodee, King Pazuzu, Queen Tiamat, Lord Beelzebub, Lord Berith, you know, Lord Behelbegor, you know, Lord Croxel, Princess Dagon, all of them. You have to be honest with them. Because they know, if you're doing a ritual, they know if you're being honest. They obviously know if you're loyal. They know that anyway, right? They know that regardless if you're loyal. And they know if you're being 666%, as my sister Loki and my sister Holly says. They know if you're being loyal. That's a fact. And they know if you're being honest during rituals. And they know what you do throughout the day, through the night. They know everything we do. The demonic do, our ancient gods. Our patron or matron demon knows. Ave King Lucifer's Raphael. Lord Metastopheles. I almost forgot. I didn't really forget him. I just, you know. And I said King Pazuzu, okay. But anyway, they know if we're loyal or if we're not. And they know that, like I said, even if we only have a cardboard box and a tea light candle, if we're 666% pure in here, and pure up here with our thoughts about Satanism and about Father Satan and all of his every demon, every demoness that belongs to him, and if we're doing the rituals correctly, the way we should, we won't have a problem. And I think we would, I think somebody that, and I think personally that if we used a small altar, like if that's all we had, if all we could afford was that for an altar, I really do believe that we would get better results than somebody that had, that if somebody had a big altar and they were just doing stuff to show off. Because if they're doing stuff to show off, it's not gonna. I can guarantee you, everything is going to turn to shit in their life, and they're not doing it correctly. I'm not judging them because that's between them and Father Satan and the demonic. But I'm just saying that if you don't do it correct, Father Satan knows if your heart is 666% his or not, and he knows that your body, if it is 666% with him or not, and he knows that your soul, if it is 666% his or not. I can promise you right now, as true as I'm making this video, mine is. My heart, my mind, my body is all his. And all Queen Lilith's, and all King Asmodeus's, and all the demonics. And I got no shame in saying it. I'm proud to say that I'm Father Satan's child. And I don't say that, if anybody asks me, and I do not care who the person is, if anybody asks me my belief system, I tell them. Not a problem. I don't fucking shy away from it. I don't say I'm a fucking moron that fucking... I don't say that I'm a fucking... someone that's afraid to do true satanic rituals and demonic rituals and say that, oh, I'm Wiccan. Okay, big deal. You're a fucking Wiccan. Congratulations. You're obviously a Wiccan because you're afraid of what's in the dark. Literally. Because all the Wiccan, 99% of the Wiccans that I know, and I know a lot of them, and have talked to a lot of them online over the years, you mention the word Satanism to them, or true Satanism, like theistic Satanism, spiritual Satanism, demonolatry, necromancy, and they shy away from you like you have the plague. They shy away from you like you have the bird flu or SARS or something like that there. Or the swine flu or something. Or the bubonic plague. Because they're just as bad. They're just as bad as the ones that are... They're just as bad as the ones that are fucking religious. The so-called religious people. The Zions. They really are, in all honesty, because they're afraid to take that sure, they got no problem being Wiccan, but they're afraid to take that extra step and actually do true satanic and demonic rituals. They're scared to death to do it, because they're afraid of what's in the dark. They're afraid that actually they might feel some real feelings from the demonic and Father Satan. Or they might see something that will scare the shit out of them. Or they might feel something, like I said, from the demonic. Or they might have a full body apparition from Father Satan or the demonic. I think 90% of them stay Wiccan. And are Wiccan because they know that if they're Wiccan, right, they can easily slip back into Catholicism. They can slip back into being either a Roman Catholic, Pentecost, Baptist, Mormon, Anglican, United, Buddhist, Seventh-day Adventist, Hindi, anything. They can slip back into the right-hand path religions easy. And they know that. That's why they're Wiccan. That's why a lot of them are Wiccan. And I'm not saying that a lot of Wiccans don't have a lot of knowledge, because a lot of them do. But they're just afraid to take that extra dive. They're afraid to take that extra leap into Satanism, into true Satanism, when it comes to demonic and satanic rituals, which to me is a load of horse shit, in my honest opinion. Because it really is. I'm not joking. And I got friends that are Wiccan. But, when it comes to satanic altars with me, in all honesty, like, the only way I would have if I had the space, I would. If I had the space, I'd have a big altar. But in saying that, I get just as good result. I got an altar, yeah. But I don't have a full room for it or anything like that, right? But in saying that, I also know for a fact that if I did have a full room, I'd have an altar set up there. But if I did, I'd have an altar set up there. But I also would definitely keep the items that I have now, my altar items, and I would just incorporate more items. But I'm happy now with my altar, because I do get results when I do rituals. I just don't brag about them online like some people do. There's, oh, this video's getting way too long. Yeah, I'll get back to it. I'll do another video about this, because this video is like 26 minutes long now. I didn't think it was going to be that long. But anyway, Ave Lucifera, Ave Lucifaz Raphael, Ave Great King Paimon, Ave Lord Mephistopheles, Ave King Pazuzu, Ave Queen Tiamat, Ave Beautiful Queen Lilith, Ave Father Satan, Ave Lord Belial, Ave Lord Leviathan, Ave Lord Behelbegor, Ave Lord Berith, Ave Lord Varine, Ave Lord Volok, Ave and Hail Satan. Ave Satanis, brothers and sisters. I'll talk to you next.